everyone, it's Mads from Denim and Leather, and I'm here with Phil from Temperance Movement. How are you?
Hello, Mads. I'm very well, thank you.
So we're here in Aberdeen tonight, but you played quite a special show yesterday. How did you find that?
Yeah, it was great. We played at Download yesterday in Donington Park, and it was unbelievable. It was amazing. We sort of arrived about midday, and we were on the stage just before 3 o'clock, and there was a huge buzz, a huge amount of people, because Guns N' Roses were playing later, and I got to see them, a little bit of them last night as well. It was wonderful. It was really quite magical, quite emotional, a little bit nostalgic watching them, especially when they played the tunes I knew. It was nice, and it was great just watching a classic sort of Hollywood rock and roll band still doing it, you know.
Now, you guys have got quite a cross section of fans in terms of ages, and you know, you've got younger fans and then the older fans, whereas a lot of bands have just got their fans aging with them. Why do you think that is?
It's because of the music that we do and the way that we do the music. We record. We like older music. Our fans are probably of an age that some of them may even have seen the Rolling Stones a couple of times in the 70s, or seen Led Zeppelin at the Palladium or whatever in Glasgow, or the Faces, you know. And as even though my age doesn't allow me to, I didn't see those bands, or I wasn't into those bands when those bands were out. I love those bands because I just loved that kind of music. I had this old ear for rock and roll music. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was very much a focus on the Beatles and Pink Floyd as well. At my school, people like the Beatles and Pink Floyd, and Dark Side of the Moon was always discussed. So I don't know, that's my sort of tastes. Sgt. Pepper, the White Album, this is what I loved, and I got into the Rolling Stones a little bit later with Exile on Main Street. Meeting the Temperance Movement, we all had the same sort of influences, and we loved Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. Hey, we loved like the old music, like Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac. We loved like the Cream, and we loved the Stones, and we loved the Faces, and we liked the humour of the Faces, and wanted to recreate that. At the time we put the band together, it wasn't particularly fashionable to do that. It was kind of like it had been done and done and done and redone and redone and redone by the time that we were doing it. Sorry everybody, get out, I'm doing an interview. Just get out. So I think so our fans attracted first the disenfranchised people who had missed, who missed seeing bands play live. There's lots and lots and lots of bands in London and in Glasgow playing. Our lot were. I think they were all. The thing was, it was a bunch of session musicians with a Scottish singer, and we're not gonna. We can't win here. We've got a band down the stairs, and we've got the guy changing the bottles in the bottle bank. I think it was just at first we got the parents in, and then the parents brought their kids, and we do, especially since Deeper Cut, we've got a slightly sort of younger audience, but that is the audience really that has supported us with sales, because those people buy music. They make a point of telling us that they buy the music in order to support the band, because they still believe in that. Now, so that's how come the Temperance Movement is here, because we have that older age group. There's an appreciation for the music that we're playing, like the old tweed amplifiers and stuff like that. That's all that all comes from the 60s and the 70s, kind of appreciation for guitars, and all that sort of stuff. It's something which may be incredibly boring to generations since, but there's the appreciation for that is generally an older audience, and so in America it's when we've toured there, and in Europe it's a little bit younger, the age group over the piece, it's a little bit younger. But here it's Zeppelin fans, Iron Maiden fans, Beatles fans, Stones fans, like White Snake fans and all that kind of hair metal stuff from the 80s as well. Those guys like us too. And then on the download stage we kind of don't really belong anywhere, because we're doing a kind of old style of rock and roll music with all its twists and its turns and its grooves, and it's not necessarily always heavy like the bands that are round about us. We're not straightforward rock. There's lots of different sort of dynamics in what we do, because there was always different dynamics on, for instance, a Stones album like Exile on Main Street or a Beatles album. So yeah, we kind of sit. We don't get on the radio because we can't get on the radio because we play guitars, but we and at the same time our audience is the download audience, because they're the people that listen to guitars. So I think I've answered that, and probably much more than I needed to. But anyway.
But you released your third album earlier this year. Can you tell us a bit about how it came together?
Yeah, it was born out of quite a sort of fraught period of time. There had been the first couple of years of the Temperance movement was we were very, very sort of fortunate. We had a sort of quite quick sort of we had a lot of good fortune, is what I'm trying to say. We had the Sunflower Jam with the sort of Deep Purple people, and we got to play in front of Alice Cooper and Brian May, and we got word about, and we met Planet Rock, and Planet Rock got into us. We made a video for Only Friend, and Planet Rock got into that song and played it, so which is another reason why the fan group, the fan base is what it is, because they listen to Planet Rock. And we toured, we eventually we got these shows with the Stones, and that helped us, and and we toured America, and we started working on a second album, and then it was after America it kind of started to go wrong, because Luke, who had phoned me, my initial contact for the Temperance movement, and he had started the band really in my eyes, introduced me to Paul, and it was the three of us for a while before we met the other two, and then we went to America for a very long tour, and at the end of that year he decided that he didn't want to be in the band anymore, and it really upset everything, although because we're all kind of stiff upper lip type of guys, we just kind of buried it and sort of went along with another guitar player, and at the end of that, and another year passes, and Damon leaves, the drummer leaves, because he couldn't cope with being in the band without Luke, and very quickly we got another drummer, so there's this kind of staggered lineup change, which kind of confused everybody for like 2 years, but we kept together, and Deeper Cut is the result of us keeping together and moving on, basically.
And what do you feel the lineup changes have brought to the band?
Well, to be honest with you, majority of people would listen to the two guitar players and not really hear any difference, or the two drummers not hear any difference. There is massive differences in who they are as people. There is, and what comes with them is a completely different set of influences, and different drives, different sort of just completely different people. See, one of the main things that we try to embody is a team spirit, if there's some, if it, in the early days of our band, if the wheel fell off the van, which it actually could do and did do, all of us would be out there dealing with it, you know. That was the kind of thing. There's a bit of the kind of Boy Scout element to the Temperance movement. We weren't really interested in getting absolutely fleeing out of our heads. We enjoyed music and wanted to be in a band again, and so I think that was what we were trying to protect, was our friendship. And it's very difficult when a friendship goes wrong and it changes for two other people to come in. But those two people brought with them fresh energy. See, so you asked, what did they bring? They brought with them enthusiasm and passion that perhaps the three remaining guys had forgotten, or had been kind of kicked out of us or whatever by touring and by losing our two friends. So two new guys brought in enthusiasm, and they brought in a sort of excitement and helped to change the band.
And how did it feel for you guys to see your album reach so high in the UK charts?
It was unbelievable. I mean, we had come very close to that with our first record. I think we were in at number 8 in the pre-sales, but it charted outside the top 10 when it came to it. So to get number 6, and I think it's number 1 in the rock album charts, and number 6 in the UK national album charts, it's unbelievable. And it just kind of puts it into perspective. Because I listen to Capital Radio, and I do listen to Radio 1, and I listen to Heart and all that, because I don't have a digital radio in my car, so I'm kind of stuck listening to those things, and they don't really represent the fact that all those people bought our record. So, except if you listen at night, So it just kind of, it really sort of strengthened us, gave us confidence, having felt a little bit shaky, and we were sort of we were strengthened by that, and given a chance to sort of realise again who our audience are, and what it was that we did well, and
Now, you've got an amazing voice, but how do you keep it in shape on such lengthy tours?
Oh, I don't know. You just do. I think the strongest part of me is probably my neck and shoulders, because that is what actually gets the voice out. And when you're singing for long periods of time, my tummy muscles get quite trim as well, because I'm pushing this air out. But it does wear after weeks. I noticed that in America. It was a very different voice at the end of the tour than it was at the beginning. But I think you just remember Liza Minnelli in these situations, and you just keep going, and you remember Tina Turner, and you just keep going. And your voice, like many things in your body, does adapt and can cope under strain. And essentially it's a strained voice anyway. It's what could be possibly an operatic voice, which has never properly been trained, and I kind of allow my throat to gravel through the air, which gives it the sort of tone that it has, because I'm looking to sound like Rod Stewart as opposed to Pavarotti, so that voice is generally, it's a kind of broken voice anyway, so it does get, I mean, there's been times where I've had to get doctors and everything out to sort of help me, I've had to get lots of things to take, because it just gets completely, I can't even talk, so rarely that does happen. But to keep it, you kind of need to keep singing strangely in order to keep it going. You need to rest it as well after so I try not to play more than 3 gigs in a row. I used to do 4 and 5, but I won't do that now because it's not so great for my voice. lots of singers just kind of get the shit kicked out of them by the agent. They just set up all the gigs because it's handy for them, for the way that they want to promote the record. But you have to say no, you know, because otherwise you don't have anything to work with.
And being from Scotland yourself, how do you find it playing to a Scottish audience?
That is my favourite audience in the world. That gives me the feeling, that gives me what I've always wanted, which is just love and acceptance by my kinfolk, my people. I suppose when I was younger, when I was 20, I moved from Glasgow, and in hindsight I think it's probably still the right thing to do, because Glasgow went through many changes in the time I was away, and by the time I moved back it was a very, very different city, and there's a possibility that I might not have ever there's a possibility that the city itself could have destroyed me had I not left it, because I was quite kind of wild back in the early days. But I always wanted to be accepted there, and try as I might, it just didn't happen as a solo artist. There was better solo artists than me that were doing it, but I remember that when I left, but the night before I left Glasgow, I listened to Exile on Main Street for the first time. I was about 20 years old, and I remember thinking to myself, the difference, because I liked the Beatles as well, but the difference between them and the Beatles was they were a band. The Beatles were individuals all doing their own thing in the studio and stuff, and eventually they broke up. The Stones stayed together, and they were a band. They were the band, and that's what they were, and I understood that. And then I went on for the next 15 years being a solo artist until the Temperance movement, and I kind of got it much later, because the Temperance movement took away all of the pressure that a solo artists have. It allowed me to become part of, as opposed to being the only thing. It helped me to learn how to write with people and collaborate in lots of different ways, and it gave me what I really had always wanted, which is what I had at first. I had a band at first when I was in Glasgow, and I did the dirty on them, and I broke it up and went with a record deal myself, and I eventually lost that deal, kind of karmically. And so all the time later, in a big circle, I got the Temperance movement got together, and it is the higher calling, I think, and it is always what I've always wanted, to be in a band that was like the Black Crowes and be able to sing like that, to be in a band like the Stones and or the Faces, because we're all quite we're a bit like that, sort of just normal sort of people.
And what are your plans for the Temperance movement for the rest of the year? Well,
the plans for the Temperance movement are we have our ticket this year is Deep Purple. We have many gigs with Deep Purple. We are playing through the summer. We've got like festivals. We've got the Montreux Jazz Festival, we've got the Transmit Festival. We've got Westpallar Festival, I think this is in Germany or Belgium, I can't remember. And we're playing 4 shows in Europe with Deep Purple, 2 in Italy, 2 in Finland, and then we're touring through August and September with Deep Purple and Judas Priest. So before, and then after that, nobody's talked about it yet. So yeah, there's a lot of touring and a lot of work to do.
Now, you mentioned earlier that a lot of your older fans tend to buy your records as a physical copy. What's your opinion on the debate between physical copies and streaming and downloading?
Well, my opinion is that it's obviously been better for our band that people. We punt records to people. We have a merch stall. I know the joy of vinyl and what it's like to play it on a record player and to have it as a piece and look at it and everything. I still love that, because I come from that era where that was the thing, and I saw it change over to CD. But I will say at that time that when I was younger, before vinyl came back, when it was still in, vinyl was it was like, what could we do to get better than this? And when CDs and when tapes came along, it was like you got a tape because it didn't jump and it didn't crackle, and then you got a CD because it didn't do either of those things either. It was even brighter. So I'm kind of caught because the MP3 file is perfect, right? It's not going to slow down or speed up. It's not got cracks in it. It doesn't jump when you dance in your bedroom. But it's not. It feels like it's not worth anything. It feels like bands are working hard, and the thing that they used to make that was their crowning glory is worth nothing now, and it's kind of sad. But so what, right? Because like Guns N' Roses are a great example of the greed and the excess that all of the fans' money paid for, basically. All of the touring, all of the tickets, all of the albums that they sold, before the internet and before you could access everybody's music freely. I think musicians are, in a way, having to readjust. You know, you can be on the radio now, but you've got a job as well. You're working in a furniture shop or something, or do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's the big ones at the top like Pharrell and Beyonce and everybody, and you know there's only room for that kind, and not just you can't, not everybody can get up there. It's like the 1% thing, and I think that bands, do you know what? I think that bands need to be forced into a corner a bit, because I think that's what bands are. Punk bands, they're a bunch of friends that have got no money, that are travelling in some guy's car, or maybe can afford a van, and are maybe sleeping in that van, and they've just got they've got a massive release at night time when they sing their songs on stage, and maybe get their name around, and maybe sell some merch that they've made themselves. You know, everybody has to work hard now, harder than they've ever done, because the one ticket left is the live show. You know, that's, you know, until, you know, artificial intelligence is fully in place, you know, it's still something worth paying for, to go and see, you know, a band, go and see the Temperance movement live. Because that, I mean, for us actually, that's really, as much as we love recordings, as much as we like making our albums, it's a live act. It's we kind of make music for the sake of making music. We like playing the music together better than, you know, we don't put the music on and listen to it and go, that was, because it's just like a captured version of it from a long time ago. The song has grown into something else since then. I love Spotify. That's what I have on my phone, so I love it, that it's the portability of all of the music that's ever been made in the world ever on my phone, to be able to access it. But at the same time, I just don't understand what's happening. You know, it's because, I mean, you know, we're okay because our fans kind of come from the 80s and 90s perhaps, but you know, my son never knew vinyl. My son, he's 12, and he only ever knew the internet and the MP3 file music, all the music being available, you know. So it'll change again. Musicians will have less money than they have now, you know, and you know, I don't know. I think you've just got to be really good. You've got to be dedicated. We are incredibly lucky, I shall say. It sounds like I'm moaning here. I'm not moaning, because the Temperance movement have been very, very lucky amid all of this that's happened. You know, all of us in the band have been able to sort of exist and, you know, make a living out of the Temperance movement. So we've had it good and we've been lucky. But that's our story. I know that there's many others that haven't.
Well, have a great show tonight. Thank you so much for chatting. Make sure you check out the Temperance movement and come back to Denim and Leather for more. Bye.
Right. Thank you.